You're listening to Genuine Chit-Chat. This show is for real.
Hello my friends and welcome to another episode of Genuine Chit-Chat. This week is another Patreon special just because of some scheduling issues, but fear not, I've got several podcasts due for recording over the next couple of weeks, as well as the usual Ahsoka stuff that I'm doing, as well as a couple of guest spots, so I've got a lot going on, so fear not. But I didn't want to leave any of you empty-handed, so here is the episode from my Patreon. It's where myself and Megan review Evil Dead 2, and Megan talks a little bit about some of the weirdness, or what she considers weird in movies. So it's a bit of fun, and it's the kind of thing you can expect from Patreon, so if you go over there, or if you donate to Coffee, or if you leave a review or rating and screenshot it and send it to me, you can get bonus content. Details to that are in the description, as well as detail to all the other pieces of content that I have been putting out recently, and don't forget to sign up to the Pop Culture Collective newsletter completely for free to keep up to date with what I'm doing every week. But friends, I will talk to you next week with Disney Discussions number 9, and it's going to be a good one, and then following that I've got a couple more interesting ones to go. So thank you so much for your support as always, and I'll speak to you next week. Welcome to Genuine Chit-Chat, where we have honest conversations with interesting people, and I'm your host, Mike Burton.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Afterthoughts. You're here with your hosts today, Megan and Mockle. I could be a radio presenter.
You could be. Listening to the Afterthoughts. Thanks guys, thank you for tuning in as always. So we are doing the 1987 movie Evil Dead 2. It's a weird one this, because I think we reviewed Evil Dead a while ago, and I've been wanting to watch Evil Dead 2 for a while because I think it's superior in almost every way. And it's a sequel that's also kind of a reboot and a retelling of the story. And it also has its own sequel called Army of Darkness, but Army of Darkness isn't called Evil Dead 3, it's called Army of Darkness. So the two films that are sequels and prequels to each other are not numerically detailed, but the two films that aren't really related to each other are. So it's really weird. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Much like the film.
There are moments in the film that... I mean, the film loosely makes sense, but there are moments...
The film loosely makes sense.
Did you prefer this to the first one?
No, I absolutely despised this film. I really didn't like it.
Really?
It's too weird.
I thought you'd prefer it to the first one.
I don't really remember the first one. I know there was the tree rape scene that I wasn't a fan of, obviously.
Yeah, there wasn't one of those in this one.
There wasn't a tree rape scene in this, so huzzah.
It was a good step up.
Always a good day when there's no tree rape scene.
There wasn't as much gratuitous gore.
No, so yeah, I don't like gory. I prefer
Cartoon
the
gore,
silly aspect of it, but I just thought it was just lunacy.
Oh, it is. It's complete lunacy. There's a lot of laughing in it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I probably wouldn't watch either of them again. I didn't like this one. I don't really remember the first one. The first one was scarier.
Oh yeah, well the first one was meant to be like an indie horror film, whereas this is like a black comedy almost.
I wouldn't class it as a horror.
This one?
No.
It has horror-esque moments.
It has horror-esque moments, but I wouldn't class it as a horror. It's like on the same vibe as like that Martian movie. What was it? Mars Attack.
Wow. It's an interesting comparison.
Well, it's just like the cartoonishness of it. No? Do you not think?
Yeah, now that you've said it, it's actually a very interesting... Patreons, please tell us what you think, because I'd really like to hear some of your thoughts if you think Mars Attacks and Evil Dead 2. That'd be quite a cool double feature.
Right, I haven't seen Mars Attacks in a very, very long time. And I don't even think it was a film that I personally watched. I think I kind of like passively watched it because my brother would watch it. I definitely remember watching Mars Attacks, but it's not something that I can remember. But this gave me the aliens and like the bug eyes and like that kind of stuff. It gave me that kind of vibe, really.
Mars Attacks is one
because they have like bulging eyes, the aliens, don't they?
In Mars Attacks, it's more like an inflated skull. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
But this isn't about Mars Attacks. We'll have to do Mars Attacks and see if you like it in comparison.
It's about the White House, isn't it? They go to the White House at one point.
Yeah, well, Jack Nicholson plays the president, and he's one of the main characters. And Jack Black has a little cheeky cameo in Mars Attacks. That's what they look like. Yeah, so it's kind of the same ish vibe. Not far removed, I guess. But yeah, because the main thing in Evil Dead is the Deadites. That's what happens when you get possessed by like an evil spirit, and they're like sadistic, weird, mental, demony things. But it cuts right into it. I mean, the first film's not long either. Obviously, this film's only like 87 minutes or 84 minutes, but it gets right into it. Like within minutes, they're in the place. The book audio's been played, and the evil's attacking. But this does have one of my favourite scenes in it, which I adore, and it cracks me up every time.
What are you doing in the kitchen?
What are you doing in there?
What are you...
Hello. How did you get through the stairgate?
How did you escape from the living room?
In the lounge. No.
Oh, my baby.
In the lounge. In the lounge.
How did she even get through it? Wasn't it shut?
No, it wasn't closed properly.
Oh, she's an escape artist.
She is an escape artist. Well, I'm going to keep that in there. So normally recording the extension.
I saw her tail through the panel of glass through the door.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that was funny. Nice little detour there. I'm not going to cut this out. But yeah, so my favourite scene probably in this, well, definitely in this film and probably the franchise, is when Ash is running away from the evil and he keeps slamming doors on it and he's like running through the house.
There's a lot of like silliness in it.
Oh yeah, it's stupid as hell.
And
there's bits where you were actually laughing as well, to be fair.
Yeah, because it was just ridiculous. I don't hate this film. I wouldn't choose to watch it again. It's just too much on the air of ridiculousness for me.
Yeah.
But the one scene that I really fucking hate is when it was laughing. I get it, because obviously if you're in a house like that and there's these demons that are like essentially torturing you, like both physically and psychologically, mentally torturing you, I can see why he was going crazy. But the scene where he's like hysterically laughing
and all the voices
and
are laughing.
All of the voices
and all the
are
furniture's
laughing. I hate it. And, there was that lamp that was like... And I know this isn't a video, but I'm doing what the lamp...
She's doing what the lamp's doing. Quite expertly. We should record you doing it and then edit the film so you're the lamp in the film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put my face on the lamp.
That'd be even more scary. Like
Why would that be more scary?
What, a human head on a lamp?
What if I was just smiling at you?
I think that's scary with the noises that was happening. But yeah, it's mental. It's a very weird film.
And there's no consistency in this movie either.
Oh, no. It's like 3 different films merged together.
No, but I'm not even talking about that. But like continuity with like the blood on his face and stuff. Like at one point he had like all of the blood for some reason was really black.
Yeah.
I get at
the start of the film.
Not even at the start.
Partway through,
I get from the demons it would be black because they're demons, like whatever, and they're blowing up gross tar shit. But like when he was bleeding, it was like fucking black. And then at one point he was driving a car. He wipes his face and then it's basically completely clean. And then it cuts away from it and goes back. And then suddenly he's got like spouts of like vibrant red blood that are it's fresh. And it doesn't match with like the wounds that he's got. And I was like, I don't understand why that's now suddenly there.
Yeah.
They clearly were not paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Sorry, Sam Raimi.
Yeah, Sam Raimi sort of shit out, mate.
Well, he did eventually. He made the Spider-Man movies. Continuity them's fine.
What, Tom Holland ones?
No, the Tobey Maguire ones.
Did he make the third one?
Yeah.
Well, then there's no continuity, is there, Michael?
I know.
So that doesn't boost him up in the...
No, I know you don't like that film. Yeah, famously, your famous Patreon rant. But yeah, the film is really odd, this one. I love it, personally. I think it's great.
That's because you like silly, weird things.
And also, it's like taking the mick out of horror while also being one. Like, a lot of it is just...
Like, if I was going to have to watch a film that was either really horribly scary or a spoof, I think I'd rather watch a spoof. Yeah. Because as much as I am happy to watch horror films, I don't like scary things. Yeah. Like, on Amazon Prime at the moment, we're watching Hell's Kitchen, and whenever it goes to the adverts on Freevee, it's always The Nun 2, which is coming out on September 8th or September 9th. It's like, and it's always that. And I don't like that trailer because it freaks me out. I don't like films like that. Yeah. So if I was going to watch a horror film, I think I'd rather watch a spoof. Because like, I know that they get a bad rating. I like the scary movies. Right, yeah. Because I guess they are silly and weird. So I think Dan said it multiple times. He's like, I don't understand your gauge for what films you don't like. He's like, I think that I've sussed you. And then you watch another film that I don't think you're going to like and then you love it. So I don't understand what you classify as weird.
You seem to like weird but not dark. You like weird things that aren't like really dark or deep social commentary. Like when there's weird Disney films, you're fine with it. Like Bedknobs and Broomsticks is nuts.
Wouldn't call that weird.
You wouldn't call Bedknobs and Broomsticks weird.
No.
Like, guys, go watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks if you haven't. But also listen to our Disney discussions on Spider Dan's feed because
it's whimsical.
It's weird as fuck.
It's not weird. The only really weird bits is like when they're on the thing, like on the actual bed, and then
the main part of the film.
No. The weird bit about it is that it's trippy as fuck when they're on the bed. Like just the colours, everything about it is trippy. That's weird.
Well, you don't think they're going into a book and interacting with cartoon animals?
Well, you've also already got a flying bed in there.
Yeah, you got a flying bed. You got them going into this strange world that's in a book.
That's a different film to choose, though, because I grew up watching that.
But I'm just saying it's weird.
I don't think
you're defending. You don't think Bedknobs and Broomsticks weird. You don't think when they're in the scene on Portobello Road where everyone's dancing for like 5-10 minutes.
I think it's excessive, but I think it's funny.
But you don't think it's weird.
I don't think it's weird.
You don't think loads of people dancing in the street like that.
It's not the same kind of weird. That's
what I said. I said you like weird.
Yeah,
if I was happy weird.
If I was in town and people started randomly dancing, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably a bit weird. But then I'd probably enjoy it. Right. I like musicals.
Yeah,
so for people to randomly start dancing and burst into song isn't weird for me because I'm used to watching it.
But enjoyment and weirdness are not intertwined.
But I don't associate that with being weird because it's something that I've grown up with. Do you see what I mean?
And going into books and interacting with cartoon characters is not weird.
No.
And the man who tried to randomly stab a child.
Yeah, I think that's weird. I think that was completely out.
So the main point, so the main points that I'm pointing to in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, you are accepting are weird, but you don't think the film as a whole is weird.
No.
Fucking hell. Okay. Well, I want to put that on social media to see the other people if they don't think the Bedknobs is weird. So
you're just going to put a poll out on
maybe
new Twitter saying, do you think that do you think that Bedknobs and Broomsticks is a weird film? Just yes or no?
Yeah.
Go on then.
No, hold on.
Also, speaking of bread knobs.
Right, okay.
I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
Oh, no.
In my family, on a French loaf, like a baguette, my granddad would call it the knob end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I didn't realise that it was only associated with being a French loaf. And I also didn't realise... I don't know, French loaf. A baguette. I also didn't realise that it wasn't an everyone thing. I didn't realise that not everyone called it the knob end.
Right.
So I went to dinner once at one of my friends' houses from when I was at secondary school. I think it's pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean, if you called it a knob, then I think I'd know what you mean if you said a knob of, but it's not standard.
I think I was 7 or 8.
I don't think it's a standard thing for people to...
No, it's not. But I was at the dinner table with Nicola, her brother James, and then her parents. And I was like, please can I have the knob end? And everyone looked at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, the knob end. I was like, the knob end. And they were like, why are you saying that? They're like,
why did you call it the end?
The end of the bread. And I was like, that's what we call it in my family. I didn't realise that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It's like when my dad went to the car boot sale and asked if anyone had a Dicky Dicky light.
Yeah.
So a Dicky Dicky light in my house, in my family, are those tiny little fucking lights, tiny little torches.
Yep.
Specifically, I think they were the ones that you had to screw on for them to work because it connected the battery.
Yeah.
And then in order to turn it off, there wasn't an off button. You just had to unscrew it slightly.
Yeah.
And my nan called them Dicky Dicky lights.
Right. Yeah, I see. Well, I think that's weird too. So, back to Evil Dead 2.
How did I get onto that?
Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I said that it's a weird film, then you disagreed, and then you said about bedknobs because you called it bread knobs.
Bread knobs, right? But you know.
Yes, thank you for that tap. Evil Dead. I mean, I like Bruce Campbell, but I don't think he's the best actor. There are points in this where we're like,
I also don't understand what his age is.
You know, no one does.
It doesn't, like, how old is he?
He even calls the people kids. Well,
how old is he meant to be?
Because him and his girlfriend, and then she obviously dies. I mean, spoilers, but it's a film that's like nearly 40 years old.
Spoiler!
But, that's in the first 5 minutes of the film. And then he's just dealing with the house for half the movie. And then those other people appear who are the daughter and boyfriend of the daughter.
Yeah, also, at one point, I got really confused, right? Because I thought they were siblings at one point. Because he says, we're here for our parents' work.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you saying our parents? I was like, they're siblings then. And then she was like, but my father. And then said something about them not being related. And I was like,
I think he misspoke. I think he said the line wrong, to be honest. I think he was messing your parents.
Unless I'm just like mishearing it.
The subtitles were wrong, weren't they? Because we had to have subtitles on because the audio in this.
Oh, yeah, the audio was shit.
It was terrible.
But then there was one bit where.
It was from Prime, so it was like it wasn't downloaded illegally or anything like that. Not that we do that, but it wasn't that. So it wasn't
we even got another subsubscription on Amazon, a free trial. Fucking hell, so many fucking subscriptions.
Yeah.
I need to remember to cancel that.
Yeah, the trial.
But
the siblings and
the subtitles were wrong. Yeah, so there was one bit where I didn't even realise it was wrong because I was reading the subtitles. So because I read the subtitle, I heard what I was reading because that's a thing that your brain does.
Yeah.
Whereas Mike was like, that's not what he said. And I was like, what? And then he said the actual line. I was like, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so something I was wrong anyway. So maybe that was part of it. But still, I thought that. But then when she said that, I was like, oh, it must have just been him misspeaking or wrong subtitles or whatever. And then obviously all those people were like dying stuff. But he calls the main woman a kid. And she seems to be in her 20s, I guess.
What's his name? Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Are you looking up his actual age?
How old
is Bruce Campbell?
Is Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead 2?
He is an actor.
Yeah, I know he... Yes, I don't want to know the actor's age. I want to know the actual,
well, then that would be Ash.
Character. Oh, so the actor is Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, the character.
Oh, I don't know what their fucking names are.
It's Juicy Brucey, that's what Rob calls him.
I don't know who Bruce Campbell is. Ash, what's his name?
Ash.
Ashley. Ash Williams.
Did it say?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Jesus.
It's just dead air, isn't it?
It's not.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking questions to follow up with your searching, because people can't see that you're just scrolling.
So this means that Ash was 25 years old during the events of the film, which took place in 1982. But
that's Evil Dead 1, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
But this is the thing, is that Evil Dead 2, we don't know if it's a sequel, we don't know...
Hold on, if I search a specific word... So if I search the word 25, let's search that.
You know singing instead of...
You said that it was dead air, so I'm doing a little singy song.
A singy song.
Did I say 27?
So Bruce Campbell himself, the actor, was born in 1958. So in 1987, they probably filmed it in 1986. So he was 28 years old in Evil Dead 2.
25.
So in Evil Dead 2, he was 28 years old, the actor.
How are you finding that?
Because I just looked at the actor's age, and when the film comes out, minus a year for production, so he was born 58.
Hold on.
So you add 6 to that makes 68, and it was in
Ash's birthday is April 8th, 1957.
Whereas he's 1 year older.
Comes from a prop driver's license. This means that Ash was 25 years old during it. So he's 25 during the first film.
Yeah.
Then it says, and 57 when Ash vs. Evil Dead starts in 2015. So that's the newest one.
That's the series.
Oh, right.
Right. So this is what I mean. And it's complicated and confusing which iteration of Ash connects with the sequels, but obviously in Evil Dead 2 he survives, so he's in Army of Darkness, so that's him there. But instead of getting hung up on his age, the actor was like...
That makes more sense, because I thought in the first film he was meant to be like a teenager, but clearly not. He's 25 years old, so that makes more sense.
And then he's nearer
It's
30.
not like Cordelia in...
No, in Buffy, which is like 16 and she's like 28. But no, so yeah, he does that. And obviously there's a bit where his hand gets taken over. There's like the mirror scene, which is really cool. I love the mirror scene, where he's looking at himself in the mirror and then he jumps out and grabs him.
Do you know why they made him lose his
hand?
Right hand.
Why?
Because the actor is left-handed.
Well, that's clever.
I think that's what it said online.
That is actually quite a clever, good reason.
He's actually left-handed in real life.
So it makes it much easier to do stuff. Interesting. And he cuts off his hand. And did you notice that in this film, they read the prophecy and it says there's like a hero of time and there's a picture of a guy with a chainsaw for a hand?
I didn't.
Yeah, well, on the end of this film, he transforms back in time and he's got a chainsaw for a hand. So the prophecy thing they read is actually him.
Got you.
It's interesting.
Can you imagine going through all of that and then getting stuck like back in time before guns were invented and chainsaws and electricity? Like, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, well, that's what.
But then he's going to be treated well because he's like seen as like a god.
We just killed the thingamabob, the flying deadite, the flying deadite. But yeah, that's the next film, and the next film isn't even a horror film; it's just like a fantasy film.
What the fuck?
It completely changes. First is horror, second is like comedy horror, and then the third is fantasy.
It's like is this the start of Sam Raimi's career?
Yeah.
It's like he's just like, I'm just going to make a load of films and see what suits me best.
Yeah, and it works. He made the Spider-Man movies, Megan. He's very successful. He made Doctor Strange too. That's why Bruce Campbell's in it.
Who was he in Bruce?
He's the one who messes with Doctor Strange a little bit on the street, and so Doctor Strange makes his hands hitting himself. And he's like spraying mustard on himself and things like that.
Yeah.
He's doing that because in Evil Dead, dark magic makes his hands go against him, so it's like a nod to Sam Raimi's film where his hand... You remember his hand?
When he was like, give me back my hand!
Yeah.
It's like, right.
Yeah, and his hands are trying to get...
Yeah, that was another thing. If he chainsawed his hand off...
Yeah.
He would have bled out. There was like barely any. I know that some blood sprayed, but there was barely any blood.
Especially because it was a chainsaw. He had like a butcher's knife there.
Because it wouldn't been like, because if it's a clean slice, if it's just a one slice, there's not going to be as much blood.
No, and you can.
Whereas a chainsaw
is messy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he somehow survives, and he doesn't seem to drink anything or eat anything, and now he's transported back in time, and it's just like, how are you surviving all this stuff? Like, at the start of the film, he gets thrown into, like, that tree really hard, and that's why he's got the blood in his head. And then he crashes the car, and he flies through the windshield.
Oh, super strength.
Well, seemingly, that's kind of the thing. He's, like, prophesies that he's almost unkillable.
God.
Yeah. Well, it's a very weird film. This Afterthoughts has been probably the weirdest Afterthoughts we've done, with Willow interrupting, and then Megan talking about bed knobs and bread knobs.
Knob ends.
And knob ends and broomsticks and stuff. So what would you give this out of 10? I can't remember what you gave the first one.
I think I'd give it a 5.
Would you give it more or less than the first one?
I don't know. But then I'll think of, like, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. Would I rather watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show, or would I rather watch Evil Dead 2? I would not rather watch Evil Dead 2.
You'd rather watch Rocky Horror?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll try and make...
So I think I'm going to give this a 5.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure I gave Rocky Horror a 6. And I think you gave it a 4. But I might be wrong.
I think you gave Labyrinth like a 5 or a 6. Would you rather watch Evil Dead or Labyrinth?
I can't remember what I rated Labyrinth.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Definitely... What was the other one I hated?
Dark Crystal, you gave a 3.
That one can fuck itself.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Evil Dead 2 over that.
Okay.
Labyrinth, I'm not too sure. I can't really remember it aside from David Bowie's Bulge.
Okay, but an Evil Dead 1, you'd probably rather watch that because it's more of just a horror film. It's less weird.
I honestly can't remember.
Because I remember in Evil Dead 1, you hated like the scenes where the hand is being like cut and hit with a hammer.
It is more gory. Yeah, because I've seen the remake of it as well.
The remake's banging, but it's not weird at all. It's just fucked up.
It's just scary. I remember watching that with my brother at the cinema and thinking that I almost had to leave because I thought I was going to be sick. Because there was a bit with a nail gun that I really didn't like. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay. I'll see what the ratings are, and just to check comparatively, because it might have to push up to a 5.5 to make it make more sense. But yes, okay, well, you give it a 5 or maybe a 5.5, depending on what your other ratings
you're maybe
have been.
giving it a 5.5. I'm giving it a 5.
But I just want to make sure, because if you've given Evil Dead 1 less, then I'll need to...
But I don't know if I prefer it or not, because I can't remember.
Fair.
So it doesn't matter.
I'm giving this an 8.
Whoa, fucking hell.
I love this film. I think it's great. It's not perfect by any stretch.
Mental.
It's not perfect by any stretch. It's got toning issues. The acting isn't the best. It is very all over the place, and it is...
He made me think of Dick Van Dyke.
Right.
The main character.
I see. Well, just in Mary Poppins.
Just like his body movements.
Another apparently not weird film.
Mary Poppins? I never said it wasn't a weird film.
Do you think it's a weird film?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
You think Mary Poppins is weird, but Ben Knobs isn't?
No.
Enough of that.
Mary Poppins is more weird than Ben Knobs.
Let's not get into this. I'm not delving into this again. Friends, thank you so much for listening. Tell us what you think of Evil Dead 2. And then at some point we'll watch Army of Darkness, and we'll see if Megan prefers that. See if she prefers Juicy Brucey and
Oh my god.
What?
Mike, there's a chili growing on my chili plant. Is it?
Yeah.
Can you see it on the top right?
Oh yeah. Then you need to give it some water, I guess. I've been ignoring it.
Same. I thought it was dead. I was going to throw it in the bin.
Wow. Well, that's a new stem, that's why.
There's a new chili growing. That's fun.
Okay, fun times, friends. A little insight into our lives with chilies. I'm sure Matt will mention this when we're next to a podcast. But friends, tell us what you thought of Evil Dead, and if Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is weird, and if Mary Poppins is weird. And I'll put a poll out on social media.
And does anyone else call it the knob end?
Yeah, do any of you guys call the end of a stick of bread or baguette a knob end? Tell us. Friends, we appreciate you as always, and we will speak to you very soon.
Bye.
You have just experienced host, creator, everything elser of Genuine Chit-Chat, and also the host and creator of Star Wars Comics and Canon, found on the Comics in Motion podcast, Mike Burton.